All right. So we're gonna get started here in 6 minutes with Advent of Code Day 2. So I'm gonna head on over. Yeah, just under 6 minutes now till Day 2 unlocks. What I'm gonna do real quick is just explain. So first I'm doing the Kotlin programming language, um, which has kind of become my go-to language. Wanted to explain just briefly like what this whole AOC printer and reader get lines things is. So basically, I found that I was writing a pretty similar template because I like to add timings in for things like doing the setup and doing the doing like the actual problem solving in that. And so I found that I was just kind of writing a lot of little timings like this for I do microseconds. There's a little bit of noise in there with microseconds, but largely works. And I just was writing the same kind of structure over and over, so I just wrote this little printer class, and all it is just, hey, initially all the times are -1, but then when I initialize, that's my start time, and then I'll call end setup, end part one, end part two, which you can see here. And the point is that this lets me sort of time each part, see how long it takes. And yeah, so from there, here is the final printout that occurs with the results as well as the as well as the timings. Um, Another class that I have is reader, and all reader is doing is just opening the this file associated. So to explain, I put my resource files, my input files in the resources folder, and it's just so that way I don't have to have like input day 1 or input year for day 22. I just have a folder for that, and I put it input and test input because most of the time I'll have like one test input file, which is from the program setup, which is what I initially want to run with, and then I'll change that to input to actually run it. Um, so all of this is just sort of boilerplate code, and then like any setup code is generally going to go sort of in here. And this lines is just I open the file and I dump all of the lines into a list of strings. So that's what this data type is. In Python, or excuse me, in Kotlin, the data type is inferred here, and you can actually do this in Java with the var keyword. Again, the difference between val and var in Kotlin. A val is a value, which means it can't change. A var is a variable, it can change. Um, Beyond that, then, I'm inevitably going to add some arguments to this function and this function, which are calling what's down here. I have added classes as well for storing data and doing some of the data manipulations. Typically, that doesn't start coming up until later. And then the other class that may come up at some point, I don't know if it'll come up today, but is grid. And oftentimes, what you'll see, and I'll go ahead and pull up an example here, is admin of code 23. And if I go to day, oh, their servers are getting slammed, aren't they? Is someone DDoSing admin of code? That's not nice. Yeah, that's not nice. Okay. I was gonna show a problem. Maybe I can find it. Advent of code 2023 day 17. Um, Let me see if I can find an input. Yeah, that's not a good sign. Oh, what? Here we go. Okay, day 17. Yes. So, let me go ahead and refresh this page just in case it is a wonky bit. Okay. So, why is this underlined? As you leave, I don't recall why. I don't see why it's underlined, but whatever. Um, is this like some secret message where there's some underlined? Anyway, point is, you'll have a grid like this, a grid of integers, and that's effectively a graph. There's a lot of these grid-based problems, and so I just made like a little built-in grid class that lets me just pass in a nested mutable list, and then in hindsight, I should write a constructor that takes in non-mutable lists, and I'll deal with that another time. And the point is, this just gives me sort of a row column coordinate system, grid coordinate. Um, and then I found that a lot of times you need to move to like the cardinal neighbors, up, down, left, right. Sometimes you need to move diagonal, so yeah, for flood fills and things like that. But yeah, that's sort of my setup. So beyond that, it's just this is all sort of boilerplate code that shows up a lot. I just change the file name when I need to. 15 seconds. Hello. Oh, thank you. That's a nice thing to say. I enjoyed lecturing. It's seemingly becoming a less and less kind of important part of the job. I don't know. All right. No. We down? It isn't good. They're gonna not have a scoreboard now. I'm not gonna try to be the person that just sits there and pounds refresh. Except now I am. Rip, ripperonis. We're getting timed out. Not a good sign. Um, ah, like as soon as it does load, the first thing I'm gonna do is download my input, and it's just so that way I have it. Um, because if it seems to be working in fits and spurts right now, I want to make sure I have my stuff. Um, do 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 do. Yeah, this kind of sucks because that means they probably will not use today for the leaderboard. Um, what's more important for me than lecture? I mean, for me, like I can't take someone else's class and teach it. And in fairness, I should probably be able to do that, but it's just like it's something I don't enjoy doing. I prefer to write my own materials as much as possible. And so I've been trying to build up readings. Just a big part of it is that students don't come to lecture anymore. I mean, take for it what you will. I try not to take it personal. I think it's a generational thing. But yeah, students just don't go to lecture anymore at a very high rate. Um, sorry, I'm just getting my inputs just in case the website suddenly goes down. Okay, so we're going to read, and we're actually going to read the whole problem statement. So we're looking for this historian. Fortunately, the first location the historians want to search isn't a long walk from the chief historian's office. While the red-nosed reindeer nuclear fusion fission plant. Oh, okay, that's from 2015, day 19. I think I've actually solved that one. Yes, I did solve that one because that one basically required just a stochastic algorithm worked for it. Um, while the red-nosed reindeer, blah blah blah, appears to contain no sign of chief historian, the engineers there run up to you as soon as they see you. They still talk about the time Rudolph saved through molecular synthesis from a single electron. Quick to add that since you're already here, they'd really appreciate your help analyzing some unusual data from the red-nosed reactor. Turn to check if the historians are waiting for you, but they seem to have already divided into groups that are currently searching every corner of the facility. You offer to help with some unusual data. The unusual data consists of many reports. One report per line, so that is a report. Each report is a list of numbers called levels that are separated by spaces. This example data contains 6 reports, each containing 5 levels. So 6 lines, each line's a report, which is a split list of ints. Engineers are trying to figure out which reports are safe. Can only tolerate levels either gradually increasing or gradually decreasing. Levels are either all increasing or all decreasing, and any to it by at least one and at most three. Okay, so this is safe. Yes. This is unsafe because of the 2-7. Yep. Okay, this is unsafe because of 6-2. Yep. Okay, this is 1-3-2-4-5 unsafe because it's not always increasing. This is unsafe because there's a duplicate number. And okay. All right. So, 2 reports are safe. So, how many of my reports here are safe? Seems pretty straightforward. So, what I'm going to do is just, okay, I'm going to take the lines and I'm going to say val reports equals lines dot map, and we're going to map each line to it dot split on a space. Oops, wrong symbol. I want a curly brace. So that will map it to a thing, and then specifically I want to take that it dot split, and I want to map everything int. All right, so now I have my reports, which are just lists of, it's a list of ints. And then I'm going to pass that to part 1. So this is a list of ints, and that is my reports. Okay, so from there, it is just going to be 4. Actually, I can do reports dot count is safe it. And then I'm just going to create this function is safe int, and this is a single report. Why did it do that? I don't want it to. That was a weird automated thing. Okay. And we're just going to return that. So now we're just writing a function that determines if one particular report is safe. So the first thing I'm just going to check is, and I'm just going to first do a quick little check. Is there anything of size 1? Doesn't look like it. Let's just do require report size greater than 1. And that'll just throw an illegal argument exception to let me know the problem. All right. From there, I'm just going to first check if report 1 greater than, or sorry, report 0 greater than report 1. Then I'm just going to have val increasing equals false. And then I'm going to say if not increasing, if if it is increasing, so report 0 less than report 1, that increasing, that needs to be a var. That increasing equal to true. That way I know the direction I should go. And from there, oh yeah, I should throw in if report 0 equals report 1, return false. Because they can't be equal. Okay, so from there, now we're just going to do or it's going to be, let's see, 0 dot dot report, or dot less than report dot size -1. And it's -1 because we're if you think of the window, it's a fence post problem, right? If it's size 5, We're going to do index 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, but we're not doing index 4, 5 because there is no index 5. So, and then this is just from range 0 to that. We're going to do, and it's going to be dot for each if, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to return true if it's safe, and I'm going to try to prove that it's unsafe. So if it's increasing, then from there, or if it's increasing and this is going to be I'm just going to call this I for index, and report I is less than or equal to report I plus 1. So if I'm expecting it to be increasing, and it's not increasing, then return false. And then if it's not increasing, and so I'm expecting it to be decreasing, then return false. That would be my assumption of how this will work. Let's find out. So test input, go ahead and run it. I think it should be 2 are safe. Oh, yeah, I think this should give me the right output. Please don't freeze, little JVM. There we go. It froze a lot yesterday. I am not getting the result I expected. If it should be increasing, and if it's not increasing, and okay, let's see. Let's just see how many get this far. Okay, so this one not increasing, that's what I expect. Increasing, that's what I would expect. Not increasing, increasing, not increasing, increasing. Okay, that all seems fine. And then how many of them are reaching here? Oh, right, because I didn't implement one of the important conditions. I forgot the so if else if um so the difference needs to be between 1 and 3. Uh um if the difference is not, so if it's not, is there, I guess I just do a Okay, not in. Apparently that's a thing. Sorry, I got stuck in Python. Then return false. Right. Okay. I forgot a condition. All right. Let me get rid of my print statements. Yeah. I forgot a condition from the problem statement. Okay. Then I need to change this to input 472. All right. Let's try it. All right. There we go. Okay, part two. Engineers surprised by the low number of safe ports, and I realized I forgot to tell you about the problem dampener. Problem dampener is a reactor module that lets the reactor system tolerate a single bad level input in what would otherwise be a safer port. So this part is going to be a bit trickier. Now the safe. Actually, no. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can handle this quite easily. Right. So this is unsafe regardless of which level is removed. Oh, wait. Okay, no, I understand. So if I remove this 3, remove this 4, um, I mean, let's brute force it. So here is how I will brute force this. Because, I mean, technically it's n times m time, where m is the length, but I mean, yeah, I can see that from the input, none of these lengths are longer than like 8 things. So it's really not a problem to do it this way. And I'm just going to brute force it. And then I'm going to see if I can come up with a more clever way to do it. Reports.count. Um, and I don't have to remove one. So how I'm going to do this is it or, and then it's is that a code version of the Google Foobar challenge? No, Advent of Code's not my thing. Advent of Code is Eric Wastel is his name. I believe he's well, I know he's a software developer, and he it's his own thing. I anyway, why does it not like? Oh right, because I'm not passing in reports. Okay, reports right, and then um same oops same sort of input here. Okay, so or I'll call this is nearly safe it. And all I'm going to do with is nearly safe is implement that. And it's just going to be, okay, is it's just going to be, all right, I get variable names are important to me. It's not going to be for each. It's going to be dot um, any in dot indices dot any. If it's safe for anything where we remove a value at index blah. So this would be is safe for ports dot filter index excluded. This is going to be excluded index and where the I not equal to, again, I'm using the wrong binder here. Okay, let's see if 520 is right, and then if not, I'll actually think about it. But let's just see if we're right. Yep, okay, we're right. So to explain the code. Um, Here is the basics. I'm reading in my input here, which I'm you know showing on screen right now, and the point is read in all the reports as a list of ints. This is just so lines is a list of strings. So like this is would be an example of lines. Actually, the whole file is, but the point is like let's just look at one bit at a time. Which means this is a single line. So this is a string. And I'm mapping that string. So I'm saying transform that string into a split. This would now be a single line string turns into a list of strings, which is just the tokens splitting on space. And I am now mapping all of those values to an integer. Um, so take all of those values and turn them into ints. And so now each line is now a list of ints. So since I have a list of strings, each line, each string becomes a list event, so I have a list int called reports. That's where that comes from. The 2D list, effectively. From there, how does this work? So first, reports.count, this count takes in a predicate, which is a Boolean function, effectively a test function. So it is a built-in keyword in Kotlin. This is the same as saying for each report that the report is safe. Like, this is what I'm saying. In reports, treat each report as this variable report, and then if it's safe. So if this is true, we count it. If it's false, we don't count it, since all we care about is the total count. Separately, in part two, we have this idea of safe, but then there's this tolerance of if we remove one value and it's still safe, then count it. And so I'm using my existing is safe dialog, but I'm also checking is nearly safe. All right. So, there is safe. Let's start with that. This require was just sort of to make sure that I wasn't like this code would crash since I assumed that there's at least two elements right here. This code would crash if there weren't at least two elements. So that's the check condition. Otherwise, I just immediately out of the gate check, hey, is this increasing or not? And it's just that way I don't have to, I don't have to reference it later. Technically, a little micro optimization I can do here is that. Change that to a 1. Something to note here is that there seems to be some degree of like caching optimization occurring because part 2 is going faster than part 1, which you wouldn't expect. But my guess is this is just a caching optimization where this is safe has already been processed and it's sort of just remembering that. So it's doing some degree of memoization. Um, anyway, from there, so is safe. So we check is it increasing or not, and then if the first two values are equal, it's already unsafe. We're done. We exit. From there, we're just looping over the indices, and I can just do this little. Wait, am I getting a different result? I'm getting a different result now. How is that giving me a different result? What? Because right, because I wasn't I never mind. I'm an idiot. I do need to check this. So just looping from 0 to 1. And so there's another function I could use here called window. Um, and it would be something like report dot windowed, and then it's size 2. But the issue is that I need index. And can I get the index? No. Um, right, and that gives me yeah, that gives me a list of lists. But the problem is it doesn't give me the index. And there's no like windowed index from what I can tell. And I need the indices. Well, no, wait, no, I don't need the indices. Because it would be I0 and I1. Is that right? I think that's right. So the point of a window is that take an array and just break it up into units. And maybe that's a better way to do it. But it doesn't really make a difference. It's not. It's about which is sort of more readable. And to me, the way I had it was fine. To me, if anything, I actually think this is a bit more readable. So, point is, we're looping over the indices except for the last one, because again, we can't compare the last one to anything. And just, hey, if it's increasing, but we find a counterexample where it's not increasing, return false. If it's not increasing, we find a counterexample where it is, return false. And if the difference is not in 1 to 3, then return false. Um, Technically, I guess I can simplify this into just saying is less than or equal to 3. It should get the same result because I already handle the 0 case. What? Oh wait, no, 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 no. Is sorry, is greater than 3. Right, that gives me the same result. Okay, sorry, I got it backwards in my head. The point is, all of these are cases where it's not safe. That's part one. The trick with part two is just, hey, for each report, check like if it is safe, we short circuit. We don't even bother checking is nearly safe. Is nearly safe is the rule of, hey, if we're off by 1, so if we remove this 3, hey, it's safe. Remove this 4, hey, it's safe now. Then yeah, we're fine. But um, we only check that if it's not safe by default. And so all I'm doing is just basically looping over these indices, and I'm excluding each index. And so I'm just filtering out, or I'm specifically filtering out the excluded index, making a list sort of in line from that. So like if my list is A, B, C, D, E, and the excluded index is 2, then this just makes A, B, D, E, skipping over the C value. And then we're just able to run is safe on that. So like technically, yeah, this is O of n times length. Um, but the length is never big. Like the largest length appears to be 8. If the largest length were like 10,000, I might start to worry about this and try to find a more clever linear approach. My So if I think about this problem, what I would do without doing it this way, if I wanted to try a linear solution, is do something like this, but then just sort of have a bunch of extra logic. In hindsight, that would not be trivial. But like if I really cared about how long the length was, that logic would get complicated. Because I'd have to do something like maybe have something like val violation found equals false, and then have some logic here of like If it's the first time, then set validation found true. But then check like report against report I plus one, but again, it's against the same conditions. Because the point is, like, when you effectively now, what you have is you have to find, like, if you step through and find one violation of safeness, then you tolerate that so long as the rules still apply for I to I plus one. At which point I would just export out this logic to a function that takes in two indices and just returns like if it matches for I plus one. Um, I don't know. Yeah, that would just be complicated. And again, it's small enough that that optimization, I bet that optimization would actually make it maybe a little slower as opposed to what we're doing here. Because this is, I mean, this is fast. This is, total runtime is 54 milliseconds. And most of that is just reading the input. 53 milliseconds, 54 milliseconds. It is weird to me. And again, I know this is like a Java optimization thing. It's weird to me how much faster part two is. Because I know that it's probably caching this is safe. Like it's seeing that it's called here twice and it's just caching that result. And so it's probably just built in, like, adding the cache to this method. So that way, the second time when I'm calling this, like it just short circuits it right out of the gate. Doesn't bother actually running the method. Just like, oh yeah, I've seen that input. It's true. There we go. But yeah, it kind of trips me up that it's faster. Anyway, all right, that's day two. Let's see how I did on the leaderboard, which I know I did not make. 100% certain I did not make. Leaderboard, day two. Anonymous user, AOC plus. Okay. Minute 42 is the best time. What was my time? 14:33. Yeah, I mean, fairness, I'm not going for speed. I want to be clear. I like to see sort of how fast people can solve it. Like if I go for speed, I wouldn't be streaming and I wouldn't be talking through the problem. But I find that sort of thing interesting. Let me hang on. Leaderboard. What was the individual, like what would I have needed to make the leaderboard? I would have needed 442 or looking for blog readers. 3 minutes. Well, here, why not? Daniel Huang. What the heck? Okay, what? What? 500,000 country? What? What? In private repositories. I guess they just have some script that's like updating data files, maybe? That is that is weird, but okay. I always see like weird stuff like that. I don't know on Advent Code. Anyway, let's take a look at the private panda. I just like to look at sort of the top people. Okay, doesn't have their Advent code up. I mean, in fairness, I like to kind of see what languages people are using here. But hang on, give me a sec. All right, let's take a look at the Kotlin conf reader board. So this is a larger thing that I'm in. My time's probably pretty slow there. Yeah, it's pretty slow. I mean, second slowest. Again, I'm not really going for speed. I'm talking aloud that. This is just like a little Kotlin contest for Kotlin programmers. Let's see if he's here we go. AOC in They commit day two. Okay, granted, I haven't pushed day two yet. What am I complaining about? Control K commit. So this is, wait, what did I change in grid? Oh, that's right. I fixed the bug that I found. Okay. Buh, 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 buh. Hello? Okay, that was weird that that wasn't working, but whatever. And then we're gonna push. Okay, what is it not like with my code here? Oh, I have a bunch of redundant semicolons. That's all right. Sorry, the Java that I've been teaching Java, so that's on the brain. One other, what is it not like here? Yeah. Oh, that's fine. I don't care. All right, and then okay, commit. All right, so that's pushed. Usually I wait till the leaderboard fills up for that. I'm just kind of curious how some of the other Kotliners are doing this. Um, let's just see if any of them have pushed their code yet. I just kind of like to see what other people do, you know? Okay, day two solution. Here we go. I like to see how other people write code. Okay, input. Yep, exact same. Like, notice they do pretty much the same thing. Map of map, part one. Okay, they're doing a for each loop, but it's same idea. You know, it's just the point is you can just do filter, or you can just do dot count with this boolean, but like, you know, it's not wrong. And then yeah, okay, they do exactly the same thing I do. Um, effectively, they're doing take the list, move it to mutable list, and then apply remove at index. Um, the point is for each index, they're removing the item and then calling is safe. Yeah, which I figured was what would happen. Um. Oh, okay. I see what they're doing. They're actually sorting the elements and then checking, or they're sorry, they're basically sorting the elements and saying, does it equal that? Does it not equal that? Again, like if we're talking about tens of thousands of elements, this is probably a little slower because technically, like sorting's in log n as opposed to linear. But like you know, again with the small enough input size, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but otherwise, like similar idea, and yeah, they also did the not in. So they basically had similar logic, except they kind of handled the sorting stuff up front. Okay, cool. I'm on the right path. Um, I just like to see what other people do. I think that's half the fun. Ooh, this is one of the sponsors. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this guy, one of the guys who does like the actual thing. Does he have it as a public repo? Advent code behind the scenes. Ooh, that sounds okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like that. All right. I just kind of again, I just like to see what other people do. I find it fun. Here we go. This person is doing. Did they do Advent of Code in Kotlin? No. I'm just kind of curious how people are doing stuff. I like to see it. I don't know what else to say. I like to see other people's code. I spend a lot of time trying to read other people's code just so I'm not like completely in the dark here. Why is this not refreshing? That's interesting to me. Sorry, just something I noticed with OBS is it's not refreshing my data, my stats. All right. All right. Here we go. Oh, that's okay. They haven't uploaded day two yet. I'm just kind of curious to see what people do. Okay, now let's take a look at the leaderboard I made for UVA. And okay, couple of people up, couple of other night owls up. They got part one done. Working on part two. Go you folk. Um, some other people, I'm hoping they'll jump in and participate a bit. But yeah, all right. That's the gist of my code. There you go. Oh yeah, just to explain, I just want to test this. So report dot windowed um two, and then it would be uh what would be a good name for this? Call this levels, and then instead of report one, it's levels 0 and levels 1. Um, yeah, and then it would just be levels 0 and levels 1. So the to explain windowed, um, right? So right now I would change this to return at windowed. Okay. Um. Oh wait, no. I would want to return. Um. How would I do this? I guess I can't return from the full function here, right? Because the issue is so I can return like this is where when you start trying to force functional stuff on everything, it kind of can start to go a bit awry. Um, so it would be dot windowed, and then it would be okay, and it would be what? It dot all. Is this how I would do it? Those would return a list of lists. Okay, that's it. It would be right. Think that would work? Yeah. No, I'm getting the wrong result now. Partial windows. Let's see what's happening here. It's returning immediately here. And it's returning immediately here. What? Oh, right. No, that's still not. Oh, still not getting the right result. Yeah, all right. I did something not right with windowed, and I understand this better, so I'm not gonna try to fix it at this point. Anyway, that's gonna bother me. I'll figure out how to do it with windowed. But yeah, that's admin of code for the day. Take care.